that a boardwalk around?
Yes. I don't know whether that was concrete or wood. I think parts, I just simply don't know. Go ahead. You know, the things you don't realize, there was another slide in the pool at one time. This slide here, it was modified, enlarged, lengthened, souped up, whatever it took. Go ahead. Another shot of the deep end of the pool and the diving area, but look here, this is a hand pump. You know, you need water, go over there and pump it. Okay. Again, there was no city water. And so it's hard for us to imagine places in Indianapolis or in the area, metropolitan area, where there was no city water. But there was lots of places like that. Longacre was one of those. Just another shot of, you know, people at the beach. Go ahead. You know, they even had basketball goal in the center. But again, you see, it wasn't very deep. You know, a lot of things were modified and changed over the years. Go ahead. This, I believe, well, it's somewhere in the 20s, 30s. Just a wintertime shot. It had to have been fairly early. There's no vines growing on the building. It's fairly new at this point. After the first year, there was an engineering firm out of Cincinnati that was brought in to build the filtration system because the Board of Health would not allow them to continue, would not allow Thompson to continue without some sort of filtration system. And so that's when that was put together, and that's that building over there. Notice the barrel. Anybody go over that barrel? Yeah. My cousin on my dad's side broke her front teeth going over that barrel. It was one of the reasons the barrel wasn't there after that. Okay, go ahead. You can't see very well, it's my dad. Whenever you saw my dad in the wintertime, he always wore a top hat. You know, not the formal ones, but just a hat. And not a baseball cap, but a men's hat. And we thought that was the greatest fun when we were kids. We had snowball fights to knock his hat off. But there was an apartment up here, and this is the bathhouse and the dance area and stuff like that. Go ahead. Busy day. If you remember the slide from the 60s, it was elongated, so it came out here further. Because if you came down it on your butt and you lifted your legs up just at the right angle, you could skim out there a long ways. See, I see a lot of nodding heads there. You guys have had lots of practice at this. All right, go ahead. Just another shot of the pool. Some of these pictures are kind of repetitive, but this was when the place was on fire. Just a few shots. By the time the pictures were taken, a lot of this was over and done with. Go ahead. Debris scattered around, the roof gone here. This is the front of the building. You see the fire department's trucks there. This is one of the creeks back here. Go ahead. This is one end of the building. The roof is gone. Everything's gone. It's all collapsed in. And again, the second story burnt completely off. The bottom story, the brick kind of salvaged part of it. This is the kiddie pool right here. If any of you ever went to Longacre in the 60s, these trees were about 3 feet in diameter at that point. Go ahead. More of the destruction. And you can see just the whole building was pretty much gone. It's amazing they were able to salvage as much as they did and were able to continue that summer. Go ahead. As you can see, I don't know exactly what angle we're looking at, but just very little of it left. And the gables here, part of them just burned down. Everything collapsed inside. That gives a better view. Because a lot of the area that they used for changing areas for the rest of the summer were actually open air. They put some sort of a tarp out there and kind of block people's view, but that's where you went and changed for the rest of the summer. Right. There it is in flames.
How did that fire start?
That's a good question. My dad always believed that inside this building were about 1,000 wooden lockers. And my dad said it was always a favorite thing of a lot of the kids not to throw their trash away, but throw the paper and everything back behind the lockers. And they think that somebody set their cigarette up there and it got in behind the locker and took a while to get started. Other people said electrical, but my dad never thought it was electrical. He kept pretty good tabs on that stuff, but I thought it was probably a cigarette back behind the lockers. Being wooden lockers, it would take off eventually. But that's the old bathhouse in its glory, with the vines on the walls, and it was quite a regal place to go. Go ahead. That was the dance floor up above. Yeah, beautiful place. Great place for holding parties and things like that. Go ahead. They had a playground. I mean, I have swung on those swings so much and jumped off that I'm sure I'm 3 inches short. The putt-putt course over there, the new putt-putt course. This is our earlier picture of the picnic grounds over there on the, that would be on the west side. Rowboats. You can take a rowboat out and go out to the lake. The middle island, there were 2 islands. Us kids knew the second island had mulberry trees on it, so we'd go out there and eat mulberries and hang out and do all kinds of stuff. You know, kids remember certain things that, you know, your parents probably don't have any idea what you're talking about. This was the old miniature golf course that was up on the right-hand side of the hill. And how many of you remember the flowers at Longacre? There were flowers everywhere. The big strip of flowers coming down the hill. That was my mom. My mom said, "This place looks terrible. We're gonna fix it up." And so if the sidewalks were really clean, if the restrooms were clean, if there were flowers everywhere, that was my mom. My dad was, as long as it's good enough to open the doors, let's open it. And so they worked as a good team together. It's a colored picture that's no longer colored, but it's the new putt-putt course. They had pony rides early on. This is probably back in the 40s. Again, more picnics, probably again in the 40s or even the 30s. Same woman in the same hat out there in the rowboat. Now, it's hard to imagine people wore those things, but that's sun hat. There you go. This is the new bathhouse, all concrete structure. My dad made sure this would not burn, even if you poured gasoline all over it. Had a sun deck on top. You could sit out there, play. Believe it or not, they had concrete ping pong tables up there. And if you remember that, and you could play basketball up there, or just sit up there and hang out. Go ahead. This is hard to see. Here's the lake right here, and the pool is here somewhere. Cleaning it or doing something to it. That's the pool. It's probably before it was filled in the spring. Go ahead. Oh, I forgot. Back that picture up. One of the favorite things we did was every year the Boy Scouts would come and have their Indian powwow there, and they put up teepees and everything. And back in the picnic ground back there, right in this area here, there'd be about probably 500 or 600 Boy Scouts and their dads and people dancing around doing all kinds of. It was quite the event. We thought that was the best. Maybe you want to be a Boy Scout. All right, go ahead. Just a brochure. People doing stuff. I remember some of these people, I don't know their names, but it was all staged. Go ahead. This is Paul Velez. He was one of the head lifeguards over the years. Go ahead. Another shot of the putt-putt course. Again, the flowers, you know, just making it kind of a homey place. See, we're used to that now. Disney World spends gazillions of dollars on flowers. Kings Island does. But that was not a normal thing in a lot of places. So it was a little bit different. Go on. Again, guys playing basketball on top that Sunday. And see the flowers going down the hill? I had to weed those. Okay, go ahead. This is from the mid-60s. Here is the pool. This is a wintertime shot. There's the lake. This is when the interstate had already gone through. This was part of Longacre over here. Okay, but was never used again, really. In fact, my cousin, Nadine, who's here, her father, I remember one year planting corn over here. My dad was trying to use it for something. But these are mobile homes. During the 1960s, 50s was great. Nobody had air conditioning, it got hot, you went to the pool. That was the place you cooled off, you stay there all day, it was great. On hot summer evenings you come, it was great. Well, everybody started getting air conditioning, or a lot of people did. The numbers started falling off. My dad said, we've got to do something else. So he searched around, he said, a mobile home park would be great, but he says, I don't want to do a trailer court. I don't want to do one of these ratty things. He says, I want this to be the best mobile home park in the state of Indiana. And for a number of years, Longacre Mobile Home Park was the top-rated mobile home park in the state of Indiana. I understand it's declined quite a bit, but that was his goal all along, to have a place where, you know, average people could go and have a really nice place to live and do it fairly economically. Okay. Now these look kind of primitive by our modern standards, but this was pretty much high living back then. Every street, every house, every lot had trees in the yard. I remember helping to dig those trees down in Greene County. My dad had a farm down there, and so he grew trees, and we'd dig dogwood trees and things and put them in the yard. Right. That's a picture of my mom and dad when they got married, 1950, 51. Can't remember, 51. And that's my dad with my fourth brother, Dan. And my dad was a tall, slender man, about 6'1", and weighed 138 pounds his whole life. You know, you couldn't put any meat on him. He was strong, but he was a slender guy. And if anybody knew it, you remember his deep voice. He had a very, very deep voice. Some of the lifeguards, I don't know all these people. So it's hard to tell because the photo doesn't translate real well. The names are all on here. If you ever want to look at some of this stuff, they have access at the Historical Society.
What year was it?
I don't know. 51, it looks like. I know that's Dick Hinckley. This is a little bit easier to see people. There's my dad. Now, an interesting side note, my dad, who was the businessman who ran one of the largest swimming pools in the state of Indiana, could not swim. My mother could not swim. However, they insisted that all of us kids, from the time we were 6 years old, we were trotted down to the pool, and Paul Velez gave us swimming lessons. So we all swim. Again, I don't know. It says Eddie Carpenter there, but is that him there? Yeah. Okay, right here. All right, next one. Just a couple little personal things. Up on top of the hill next to the tennis courts, this is the house that I grew up in. Now, this was when my dad bought it. It was a pretty ramshackle little place with a barn back here. They fixed it up a little bit. It was still a pretty small place for a number of years. Next one. That's what it looked like when he fixed it up a little bit. I was in one of the bedrooms up here. And that's what it looked like after they put limestone on it and some of the trees had grown up. Just a modest little house. That's where we grew up.
Brick garage in the back?
Pardon?
Was it a brick garage in the back?
It's concrete block. There was wood and a concrete block. This is what the pool looked like if you're standing at the bottom of it in the 60s when it was drained and painted and ready to go, or getting that way. So it was quite a massive amount of water. A busy day. This is the gate up at the top of the hill. Everybody had to come in, pay so much for their car, or they could park outside and walk down the hill. Next. Just another shot of the mobile home park back in here, and Longacre pool. Obviously, it's in the wintertime when they've let it kind of get green. That house I showed you where we grew up was back here, or excuse me, it was back here. And then later on, we moved across over here. My dad bought a house out on Madison Avenue, cut it in half, put it on a trailer, brought it down underneath the trestle here, all the way up through here, put it back up here, and put it back together again over a basement. I think he figured out after that it was probably cheaper to build it from scratch. It's one of those things where, well, I got the house for free. Maybe it wasn't free. Go ahead. Just another shot of a busy day, probably in the 40s. One of the more recent ones, probably in the late 60s. Concrete guard shack and filter building, putt-putt thing. Just another shot of the pool. Yep. Again, probably 40s. Next. Another busy day. It's a great place to come to. Next. This was an article that was run in the Indianapolis Star when my father died in 1994. It's my mother.